So Oscar's in front of the camera right now. But we got this video here by Anton Daniel. I think you guys should watch it. I think this would be I know this would be for an interesting um topic. So let's just jump right into it actually.
My wife make 50K before I go and make 250.
See if I can turn it up. It's very low.
By myself and be the only income. Both bring in $110,000, $120,000 together. That's good money, especially with no kids. We have no big overhead.
Whoa, 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 whoa there, cowboy. Hold on for a second. Did he say that he'd rather make 50,000 and then his wife make 50,000 instead of him making 250,000? Is this like room 9 math? Is this what kind of nonsense? Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Just want to make sure that we all on the same page here, guys.
I'd rather make 50K and my wife make 50K before I go and make 250 by myself and be the only income. Both bring in $110,000, $120,000 together. That's good money, especially with no.
First of all, 50,000 and 50,000 ain't 110, 120 together. That's 100.
Okay, so what he's talking about, I think that what this guy on the left is talking about is just splitting the money instead of one person making the full bag, which is the reason for this video, because Anton Daniels is not coming from that approach.
Kids, we have no big overhead. That's great. You go on vacations whenever you want to. All you got to do is just go work your shift, split everything, and y'all good. It's not really splitting, y'all locked in together, to be honest. Versus a man that makes 250K, has to take care of the kids, has to take care of his wife because she doesn't work. That money is long gone. And he's carrying most of the stress. His work-life balance is upside down because he has to bring in all of that income from all of those people for all of those mouths to feed.
I know this may not be too important for some of you guys, but this is one of the prime examples of the reasoning why, in my personal opinion, reading books and learning how to articulate your thoughts is such a very valuable skill that unfortunately is not going to be something we're going to see a lot of as we continue to get older and as time goes on. And the reason why I say that is because we live in such a world where ambiguous terms takes over specificity. What I mean by that is that very rarely do people these days truly are they able to articulate and pinpoint the specific causes of their anxiety, their depression, their whatever it is that they're feeling. This young man, and the reason why I could tell he's young is because I understand where he's coming from, but he does not have the proper words and verbiage to express his ideas in a very clear and articulate way. So I'll go ahead and break it down what this young man is trying to say. He's basically stating that it makes more sense for the husband and wife to split $125,000 versus one person just making 250K. The reason why is because we can assume look at the lanyard on his hold on, let me show you. Look at the lanyard. This guy's on lunch or on break making this video. This is the lanyard to his office, whatever he's in, wherever he works at. This is how he gets in. So he's a 9-to-5er. And so basically in his mind, it makes more sense for both people to be splitting that 250 instead of one person have the 250, because you see what today's market is like in the job market. This is where Anton Daniels is not understanding it. He's been out of the market, as you'll tell in other videos if you watched him. He hasn't had to have his wife hasn't had to work for 18 years. So Anton Daniels has been making very good money for almost 2 decades. He's been out of the actual workforce for so long. It's hard for a guy like that to understand what the masses are truly going through. And that's where I'm coming in at. This guy, what he's stating is that it's so much more riskier for one person to hold the $250,000 versus both of you to have $125,000 each. Because if one person were to lose their job, the whole castle doesn't come crumbling over. I experienced this. I made that a good amount of money, and then boom, when the job let me go, boom, I'm done. When you still have a job, you're still dependent upon another person pulling that switch. They could at any moment just pull that plug, man, and then your life is uprooted and it's changed. And so I beg the question, would you rather have a salary job, right, where you're working 40 to 80 hours a week, making $250,000? Or would you rather work 10 to 20 hours a week for yourself, making $100,000? All money is not good money. You can make a tremendous amount of money doing a job that, one, you hate, or two, the job is dependent upon another person still giving you, feeling like you're worth the money that they're giving you. At any moment, AI, something else could come in and then make that decision for them, and then boom, you're done. That's what I think the guy is trying to get at. He's just not good at articulating himself, which leads to misunderstandings, man.
So that money gets stretched. So yes, 50-50 is better than single income.
Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. Now, I am a person that advocates for people working together for whatever your situation is, because all situations are different, right? Sometimes you have a situation where both of y'all gotta work, or both of y'all should work, because I do believe that women need to be purposeful, especially when you don't have children. Doesn't really matter what it is that he makes, but as long, and it really don't even matter what she brings in once he's productive. But if y'all are together and y'all don't have children, then she still need to be purposeful. So find something that's meaningful to your life, especially if y'all plan on having kids later, because maybe you want her to be a stay-at-home mother because you don't want the daycare raising your children. So I'm not removing the idea that people need to both contribute, because it should all go into one pot. And
This whole idea of who contributes what is so fucking outdated. Let me tell you guys what it really comes down and boils down to. As a young man myself, coming into the world, ascending into the ranks, we live in a society, things are different these days, you guys. Things are different in 2025. We don't physically evolve and adapt as quickly as our minds can. And let me tell you something about today's generation of women. This goes for all women. I will use this, all women. I will blanket it 100%. All women in 2025. And we could, from 1980, you guys, all women in 2025 have had, if you could think of it like a video game, all women have had increases in their masculinity. Now, it obviously differs for how it's expressed, but for the most part, there is one thing in particular that all women have nowadays, and it's a sense of urgency or sense of purpose and sense of duty. Women nowadays have that masculine urge of performance and duty. They have to have something to do, and it's not dealing with the house. They have to have a business. They have to have organizing events for their girlfriends, or they have to, you know what I'm saying? And so, honestly, as a man, I preach as a man who controls everything in his life, who is a true leader. You need to give your woman something to do. It's not just a housewife or something like that. You need her to work a job. You need her to work on set up events in your business, something like that. You need to put her to work. Otherwise, an idle mind. What's the word of it? Is an idle? What's the saying? It's like an idle mind is the breeding ground of evil or some shit like that, of bad, something like that. You guys, you don't want that. You don't want a person to just have so much free time, everything taken care of, because then that could leave room for things to just happen. You got to create your own chaos. Otherwise, uncontrolled chaos will occur. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to put your woman, if you are that kind of guy, right? If you lead in everything, she's a very feminine, submissive woman, you need to put her on a duty. Baby, I need you to start streaming. I didn't say, oh yeah, I didn't say off, but I said, baby, you got time, I'm take care of the bills. I need you to get into streaming, right? Yeah, that's going to put her in a position where she could possibly build an audience for herself and stuff like that. Cool. It comes with a territory, man. She's never yours. People are not yours. It was just your turn. Or she just wasn't the one that you should have been investing into. And this is the opportunity. You have the ability to change a person's life. And so you should exercise that to the women that you feel are deserving of it. And only then, once you give them the power, they will show you whether or not they're deserving of even more power. You know what I'm saying? What you do with one, you could do to another or many others. And so that's the way I look at it, man. This whole 50-50 idea, man, at the end of the day, as a guy, you should always be able to support not only yourself, but everyone else anyways. Right? So once you're in that level, once you're at that level, then you start putting people to work. This is how I see it.
Again, I know different people do different things, but whatever. But this shit right here, this just looks like pure laziness. This is just pure, I'm just a slow motion. I don't want to grind. I don't want to hustle. I don't want to be anything more than whatever it is that I am. And I'm okay with just working a regular job, which nothing is wrong with a regular job, but I have no ambition to be anything more than what I am. And this is what I don't like about a lot of these guys. And I have to be an equal accountability smoke giver because
And see, from here, you can watch it if you want, but he's just spitting bullshit, man. I hate to say it, you know, this guy, he's very huge. He's got a very massive following, but Anton Daniels is really missing the point on this, man. This guy's not lazy. Nothing in what he said it indicates laziness. Nothing in what he said indicates the willingness to not want to work, the willingness to not want to have a business, anything like that. No, he's trying to make a case that it's better to have dual income than one massive single income. That's the whole purpose of what this guy's saying. He didn't say nothing about not wanting to have a business, nothing about no. I'm gonna tell you guys, man, I am someone who's made a significant amount of money before. And when that got taken away from me, boom, my life completely shattered because I had one main source of large income. When that main source of large income stopped being due to things outside of my control for the most part, boom, life has changed. And so what I learned from that experience is that it's not always about how much money you make. It's about how you make the money you make, right? And so I beg the question yet again, would you rather make $250,000 work at a salaried position where you could work anywhere between 40 to 80 hours a week, a job, someone else controls your paycheck, but you're going to get $250,000 a year? Or would you rather work for yourself, whatever it is, 10 to 20 hours a week, making $100,000? So you're leaving $150,000 on the table to work for yourself, to be your own boss, to control your money versus 2.5x in your money, but now someone else controls your paycheck. Now someone else determines when your contract date is over, and you're working 50 to 80 hours a week. Which one are you choosing? All money is not good money, man. And that's where this guy, Anton is really not understanding that.
I get on women all the time.
And it's not his fault. It's because he's been out of the workforce for so damn long. This is where you can get too successful for your own fucking good, man. Because you can tell he's really trying to bring out and give good advice to people and stuff like that. But when you're at such a level, you forget what it's like to be at a starting point. And then when you bring it up, they're like, oh no, I remember. You fucking for sure do not remember. You don't remember, because you would have been able to understand where this guy's coming from off of the limited vocabulary that he has. And maybe he just completely didn't understand it, because this is why I said, once again, it's so important to have your diction very well diversified. You've got to have a lexicon of verbs and words in your damn library so that you can articulate your words clearly. The more complicated your thoughts are, the more intelligent you have to be at forming your sentences to minimize the miscommunication from spewing these complicated ideas to people. I know it was a mouthful, but you see what I just did? You understood what I was saying because of my choice of words. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone has the quote-unquote gift of gab. However, you can improve upon it by reading and by intentionally trying to do that, man. Listening to people, listening to different words, but reading is really what helped me out. So, but anyways, man, that's what I think about this, you guys. It's a decent video. I think you should go watch it. But all in all, man, Anton, he really, there's a lot of older men out here who are really trying to give good advice to, you know, Gen Z and young millennials and stuff like that. And times are different, man. Times are just so different. If you were unable to capitalize, if you were too young to capitalize on what the digital world is today, you're unfortunately met with a slowing economy. job market that is just terrible for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like there's and then the social media boom is everyone's trying to get on it now, and it's so hard to stay. You know what I'm saying? Is not what it used to be. It's not what it used to be. And so the older generation, they were able, if they were smart for the most part, they had plenty of time to kind of see how the world changes, and they had leverage and opportunity to take advantage of it. Not to say that the younger millennials and some Gen Zers didn't have the opportunity to take advantage of, situations as well, but there's a big difference between someone who's 30 and seeing YouTube come out, or seeing, they're already in the job market, they're seeing how the economy is and stuff like that, versus someone who just straight up got out of high school in 2020, you know what I'm saying, trying to come out here in the world and start their life. There's a huge, massive difference. So the advice that you give to millennials and Gen Zers these days, you really got to kind of be in it for it to even really be relevant. Otherwise, the shit just sounds good, which honestly gets the views. Say the shit, just like a lot of guys. They treat it like girls these days. A lot of guys want to hear shit that sounds nice. You don't want to hear the actual truth. Some of you do, but this is it, man. This is it. This is the truth. This is what I just said. This is the truth. It's not about how much money you make. It's about how you make your money. But first, make the good money, and then learn the lesson yourself. Make the real good money first, and then learn the lesson yourself. How about that? How about you take the 250? Take the job that's making 250 a year, working 40 to 80 hours a week. Yeah. Why don't you take that and then get fired from it, and then let me know if you would have taken the $100,000 working for yourself. You know what I'm saying? But who am I?